Okay, so thank you all for joining us today. This is the second night of the fifth Faith and Fellowship Book Festival. And tonight we have Joy K. Massenburge with us. I am going to just read to you a little bit about Joy. This is her bio. So, author and speaker Joy K. Massenburge is the voice to be heard. Her latest release, A Heart Surrendered, was a top seller in African American Christian fiction. When she isn't writing, Joy is inspiring, equipping, and providing a supportive community for authors who declare they have been called to publish a book. A graduate of Sam Houston State University, Joy holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice after leaving her theater scholarship at the University of Texas in Austin to marry her husband. After 20 plus years of overcoming trials and second chances, she takes the stage at conferences, retreats, and during counseling sessions to challenge married couples to work through their problems and reignite lasting romance. Thank you, Joy, for being here. We are very happy to have you. And the featured book that Joy has for this year's festival is called A Heart Surrendered. And Joy, if you don't mind, I would like to go ahead and read that synopsis of that book. A Heart Surrendered. As a teenage daughter of New Hope Church's pastor, Sharonda Peterson knew finding comfort in Carl's arms was a mistake. But how could the only night she ever felt beautiful be wrong? When Carl leaves town to pursue an acting and singing career, Sharonda relegates herself to a life of church service and solitude, rather than face the pain now associated with that one night. Meanwhile, Carl Ray Evanhart has been caught up in a fast pace of fame and female adoration. But a near death experience has him questioning everything and vowing to set things straight, starting with the love that got away. When Carl returns home to serve as the worship leader at New Hope, Sharonda finds that it takes every ounce of her resolve to resist his pursuits, not to mention the memories that threaten to overturn the delicate balance she created. Can she finally surrender the one thing she's tried all these years to protect? Her heart.
Thank you. Thank you. You read that so well. Thank you. Ladies, I'm just so excited to be here. I was just so, the roster was just up there and I was like, wow. I think about all the years ago when I would have just been like, that would never be me, but I'm here. So you say, why romance? Well, let's give you a little background story. So she told you the basis, but some people know this about me, some don't. Well, I married a man that I did not love. My husband knew when he was pursuing me that I did not love him. However, you have to get with me over a cup of coffee and I can tell you all the details about that. But what you tend to find in all of my romances are the principles of relationships that I've learned. My husband taught me a lot of things along the way. So I believe I was blessed that it was communication and what faithfulness really is and what true love really is. And so I love to write about characters who have I say all of my characters have soul wounds that are deep, that because they can't, I was saying PK kids, y'all, we've heard it all. You know what I'm saying? We've heard it all, we've seen it all, don't even bring us another scripture. So I feel there's those extra layers that we have to go through to truly, surrender to the love that God intended for us all the time. So that's the kind of elements that you will find in my books. So I know I have one writer among us. How many writers do I have? Can you raise your hand? Okay, so I got quite a few writers. How many readers? Yeah, y'all make our little hearts happy. Come on, we get really excited. So just know that there will be some times where I will tell you to get off your mic and we're going to kind of interact together, because that's just the way I like to do my talks. So on today, we're going to talk about when the honeymoon is over. Yeah, I done told y'all relationships is everything. It's my whole life is about relationships, but I believe writers and readers both can relate to this, because I believe everybody in here has at least dated at least once, and started out great. I mean, everything, his breath never smelled bad. He always looked good. Every time you met up, it was just a great experience. But then as you get into that thing for a little while, maybe it's not so great. For me, as a writer, those things started happening when I started getting a few more rejections. Because that first book, I won't lie, that first book, I'll never forget. My mentor, I told you I was driving to Dallas. It's a little bit past Dallas, like in Hurst, more so toward Fort Worth. So that was 2.5 hours for me to drive there once a week to sit on Lena Nelson Dooley's couch. Love that pretty girl right there. Sitting on her couch, learning the whole craft, right? She's like, girl, aren't you ready to be published? And I was just like, well, I got a book that I wrote. I wrote this novella for her to go in her July 4th collection. She does that for writers that she's been working with. And so I was like, I guess. So A Crop for Independence. That's the one with the flag and the couple. I really like that cover. I'll have to show y'all a picture of that here in a little bit. But that was my first one that I put out, and it was so much fun writing. Have you ever written and there's not a lot of rules? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, just think about that honeymoon stage when you're dating them and everybody's doing everything right. They're so respectful, their own time. They never let you down. To me, that was that process with that writing. Okay. Then I'm still writing. I get another project. I tell you, Karen Whittemeyer. I'm at a conference with her. I'm just in praise and worship. I don't know her. I didn't know her face. Now I knew her books. I've been reading her books for a while. But I remember when she walks up to me, guys, and she hands me a signed book because she says, I enjoyed watching you praise God today. And that's how I met her. Like I did Joy Melville, who I now see amongst the crowd. So here she is. And so she hands me that book, and so I was like, give me some advice. Can you just give me some advice today? And she says, if you write a series, make sure your next book is outside of that series, because until you sell book 1, you can't really sell book 2. So guys, that's what happened. Now I've been writing on this other book, but in the meantime, I had wrote on another book, which was called, it actually used to be Sharonda Surrender, but they told me they couldn't really pronounce it. They kept saying Sharonda. So they was just like, no, we're going to change the name. Okay. I was like, I think that's a good idea. So they changed the name, and that book came out before this book I've been working on for years. Okay, my first book back in 2015, and the name of that book is Bliss. But again, I'm not so hurt because this book over here sold. So I got one out, kind of indie, did a collection, then put the cover on it myself, and then republished that in the African-American market just to make sure that my full audience range was knowing my book was out there. And then, so the book that I hadn't planned on publishing, it sold first because I'm sitting with the acquisitions editor. They said, you have something else? I'm like, yeah, I got this other book I was working on. Oh yeah, that's the one that got the deal. But y'all, my heart is with Bliss. Book 1 in the Wounded Lamb series. Have you ever believed in something so much that now I can't write another book, I can't go away, because this story means so much to me? Because a lot of it relates to my journey of healing. For me, marrying a man I didn't love, but thank God that I did, because I wouldn't know the joy that I know today if I wouldn't have gone through that process. So this story means so much to me, and I want to get it out, but guess what? It keeps being rejected over and over again. Then they tell me downsize it, sell it to Love Inspired. Go with the smaller book. Okay, downsized it. Then they didn't want it. Then write it back. Make it a full novel again. Guys, I mean, it's like unreal. But then I believe in the story so much. I believe in the story so much that I'm like, okay, I'm going to hire a writing coach. So I hired Rachel Howe. I didn't know I was going to get Rachel. I went through, my book therapy has where you can do a writing, because I need somebody to deal with my manuscript, right? Because I believe in the story so much, I'm willing to invest to get better, because it's got to be my writing. So I hire Rachel. So then she gets a date set when I have to have everything turned in, and I've invested in it. But guys, then guess what happens? COVID happened. In the middle of COVID, yes, Rachel is very talented. You just don't know. In the middle of COVID, guys, my dad gets sick, and he doesn't have COVID. He just gets sick. So I'm now on the road going back and forth, taking care of daddy. But then they shut it down when we can't go in the hospitals anymore. And then we get the call. That was one of the darkest times in my life, because I couldn't get to my father. You got to understand, before that, when he was sick, there's 6 of us. Did I tell you I'm 6? I'm number 6 of a PK kid. Okay. So here it is. Every day, my daddy was never in the hospital alone, ever. Then they kicked us out and told us we couldn't come in to see my father. You got to understand that feeling I was having when they, how I felt when it seemed like right after we couldn't come anymore, and then my dad's gone. But I still had a date, and I've invested, and I have to turn this book in. So that's what I'm talking about when the honeymoon is over. And there's nothing right now, but I still got a deadline. So I'm going to ask you guys, how do you respond to adversity? Because we're all going to go through it, whether you're a writer, whether you're a reader, a mom, a business owner. Adversity is going to come. But today I want to share 3 elements with you. We're going to talk about belief, your values, and discipline. So we have all this happening. Yes, I'm working with Rachel. And guess what? It's still, I've gotten even another rejection. It's okay though. It's okay. You got to understand there's a whole process involved in this. Because I started thinking about another story. Can I be a storyteller today? Is that okay? All right. So guys, so just think about, I just want you to understand, I don't want y'all to be sad about it, because I promise you, it's a good story. My dad has lived a beautiful life, and I know he took care of some things on this side, so that we'll all be able to celebrate later. Okay. So here it is. There's these 2 ladies. Okay. They happen to live in the same house, and one has had a child, but it's just them 2. It's just them 2. Okay. And one had a child, but 3 days later, the other one has a child. Okay. And so throughout the night, the woman who had that had the baby, she wakes up. And it was the 4th night, and baby's not responding. Had to kind of wait till it was dark. So she had to wait till, you got to understand, this is back in the day, it's 2 harlots. And so she couldn't quite see the baby, but when she examines the baby, she's like, this ain't my baby. She looks at the other woman's baby, and she's like, that's my baby. The dead baby is your baby. The living baby is my baby. And they're going back and forth, and they're arguing. So they had to bring in somebody, the outside person, that neutral person that you can bring in. So it happens to be the king. So you got these 2 ladies in front of the king wrestling over their book baby. I promise you, right now, Rebecca, Robin, Carol, I bet we write different. You can come get my book all day long. And at the end of the day, I know what my book look like. You ought to see my oldest child. I still remember going into the hospital, and they said my baby wasn't my baby. I said, that's my baby. She's so light-skinned, it's unreal. So you couldn't tell by looking at her. And then she didn't look like me. She like her dad. So they was just like, is that your baby? They kept asking. I said, I know my baby. So I just thought that was just too funny. So you have these 2 ladies talking about, that's my baby. And the king's like, hold on, I'll tell you what, bring me a sword. Bring me the sword. I'm going to cut the baby in half so that both of them can have it. But it says that the mother yearned so with compassion for her son. She said, that's okay. By no means kill the child. Give the child to the other woman. But the other woman says, yes, divide the child where no one can have it. And the king tells her, and I'm paraphrasing, the king tells her, that's the mother. How did he know? I want to deal with God's what do you believe? Mine happens to be a book, baby, that I truly, truly, truly believe in. And even in adversity, I've invested. I'm letting y'all know, guys, I couldn't, Rachel dealing with my manuscript was not helping me because it had gone beyond the manuscript. I had some things going on in my heart, in my head. Because you got to understand, I've been a person, if I set a goal, I reach my goal. That's a God-given gift that he's given me. So I had somebody already teaching me about my plot. I had somebody already teaching me about structure. I had those things, but I still could not write. So I said, Lord God, if you get me through this, I'll share with the world the principles that I learned. And he tapped back into my belief system. What do you believe? Do you believe in the story? Do you believe I called you to write? Do you believe I called you to write in this hour? But it's not enough to say that you believe, guys. The first thing I'm gonna ask you is what's proof that you believe? Let's go back to that harlot who stood before the king. If you really believe, I should be able to see where you are willing to lose. I still was worried if I missed the deadline, if I had to give out all my money, I don't care. I believed in the story, so I was willing to invest. Are you willing to lose? Are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to go without? That harlot believed. She knew what baby was hers. And she knew that it must live. I was like, I know what her belief system was, even though I wasn't back in that time. Now, if you ever want to go, now guys, if you want to go read the story for yourself, it's 1 Kings 3:16-28. It's in there. So I'm still telling you a true story. But I believe that woman believed in life no matter what, that the child must live. Why? Because she has evidence. Those were the things she was willing to do. She was willing to sacrifice. That's one of the things that I know that will drive you to the finish line, no matter what. So you asked me, how many rejections are you on? I am on rejection number 7. Ask me, am I going to put that book baby in a drawer? I might put some others in a drawer, but not that one. Because truly, I believe that I'm called to write that story. I believe this whole process is just a struggle that I'm to endure. So I can relate to the authors that I coach for mindset. Because then I learned about some values. Now, this is a part I want y'all to come in and play with me, okay? I need, who wants to volunteer for me? I'll probably go with 2 people. So you got your beliefs, right? I need, Yolanda, I'm gonna let you choose. Will you unmute? Whichever 2, you just unmute one, and I'm gonna talk to her and then unmute my next one. Can you do that for me? And tell me who I'm gonna be talking to.
I have given everyone the ability to unmute themselves. So when I'm going to ask you to unmute, y'all heard what Joy said. So I'm following directions. So Natalie, girl, you it. Natalie, and then.
Hi. Thank you, Natalie, for being so willing to participate. So I'm going to figure out what your values are.
Okay.
I just need you to answer 3 questions for me. Can you do that for me?
Sure.
Okay. What will you fight for?
My children.
Okay. You will fight for your children. I love that. What do you continue to do even when it's hard?
Well, right.
I love that answer. So I've got a writer in the house. I love that answer. And what do you want to be known for?
Oh, I want to be known as a Christ follower. I want people to look at me and say, she's the real deal.
There you go. There you go. So see, that's what I'm talking about. both of us are saying pretty much the same thing. And I'm gonna get my next helper here in just a second. So Natalie, let's talk. I already know that my family and my Christian beliefs, when you said those children, yes, ma'am. Let me show you how I take that value and I use it. Here it is. I still remember, I've always raised my children to tell them, if you start it, you must finish it. I remember when I'm wanting to give up, words aren't coming day after day. I've got a time I have to have this turned in. It came back to me. What is it gonna look like? That very son, I still remember, girl, I was taking him to guitar lessons. Y'all got those children that you started in guitar lessons? And I told him that, are you sure this is what you want to do? If you start it, you can't stop. And at that time, he was 8 years old. I said, if you start, we're not gonna stop. I've been telling that forever. So he got up to about, as long as he was learning the chords and the theory of music, he got tired of the chords and the theory of music because he couldn't play them songs so he could show off to his friends. So he about wanted to quit after that first year. I said, what did I tell you? No, sir. I said, okay, you going, because he wanted to play them little sports too. You can't do nothing else until we're not gonna start hopping around. Because I felt that created a belief in his head system that he'll just hop around and not stick to anything. So my son graduated and then got a scholarship to SFA for choir and music, just because of some things he stuck with. But my fear was, now I've taught them this their whole life. Who am I now to back away when my children are watching me? Y'all see how your values start coming into play? That's that mindset that you have to, if they mean something to you, if you want them to live, the quickest way to kill a child is to tell them one thing and do another. Okay, so put that in front of you. Then I asked you, what do you continue to do even when it's hard? You're right? Yes, ma'am. I said, even though it's hard right now, I'm gonna go sit in front of this chair and I begin to say, Daddy, I'm gonna honor you. I'm gonna honor you, Daddy, because I know what you taught me. I watched you in my life when things were hard. My daddy never quit. I still remember that fireworks stand that he used to have out there in the front yard. And my daddy would sit up there and nobody in the whole community came to, do you know, not one person stopped and bought a firework for my daddy.
Oh,
That first year. But I noticed the next year, my dad put that fireworks stand out there again.
wow.
It was almost as if it took him just a little time to understand that he was in the firework business. You get what I'm saying? So I said, Daddy, I'm going to honor you and I'm going to sit in this chair and I'm going to write it. Some days, guys, I only wrote down 7 words, but it was in 7 words. I'm going to honor you in that. And I'm going to do that thing that's hard to do, even though it's hard. I'm going to keep on doing it. Are y'all seeing how now it's moving those roadblocks back just a little bit more? Okay. Then I asked you, what do you want to be known for? One of the things I'll tell anybody all day long. Now, you just said that. I know you said about Christ. Have you ever known your God to put something out there and not finish it? Have you ever known your God to speak something and it return void? See, those are the kind of things. That's why I'm laughing. Mine was integrity. Because what? I serve a God who's the author and the finisher of my faith. And so those things, those values begin to raise up to the top. So I'm like, okay, all right, I'm going on day by day, day by day. But do you notice something else that I'm starting to put off in there? Some of the things I'm doing daily and setting that clock, because I'd write an hour, 30 minutes break, write an hour, 30 minutes break. I do my calendars on Sunday because I know in my life things might be going on. So I do every Sunday, I set up what I'm gonna do for the week. If I got a 4-hour increment, write an hour, break for 30 minutes. Am I frozen? It says, am I frozen? Okay, no, write an hour, 30 minutes. Guys, that's a discipline. So I got something I need everybody to do. Do y'all have a piece of paper with you and a pen? All right, great. What I need you to do, or if you're right-handed, I need you to go over to your left hand.
Oh.
If you're left-handed, I need you to write with your right hand. Okay? And what you're gonna write, this is what I want you to write. You ready? Okay. Are your eyes, now I want you to close your eyes. You got your pen on your paper, close your eyes. Now write your name. First name, just write your first name. I know, Joy, yours is gonna, like me, we're not there long. We only got 3 letters. All right, Yolanda, you get to choose my next one.
Beth. Beth Westcott.
Ooh, Beth.
Hi.
All right, Beth, if you don't mind, tell me about your experience writing your name.
My experience writing my name. Well, it was very awkward.
It was
And I
awkward.
wasn't sure it would look decent, but I actually can read it.
Can we see it? Do you mind putting it up to the screen?
Nope. Oop, I don't know if you can
Move it over
let me
just
get
a
it in the
little
right
bit.
spot here.
Ooh, look, Beth, you
It
did
came out pretty good.
It
I had my
did.
eyes closed, my left
Yeah,
hand.
I want you to do one more thing for me. Now close your eyes, Beth. Now write it
I
with your
had-
write it with your dominant hand.
Right. Close my eyes.
Close your eyes and write it with your dominant hand.
Okay. That came out good too. Oh,
Oh, but look
I
at
don't know
Beth.
how I did that.
But y'all look at Beth. Beth, tell me, I know she's laughing now. Why, Beth? What was the feeling? What was the difference?
What was the difference between my right and left hand?
When you
way I
experienced,
wrote?
what was the difference with the experience? Cindy said same with her.
Well, I had my eyes closed, so
What
I
was the
couldn't
difference
see
in
what
your
I was
experience?
doing. All right,
So
I
when you
don't
wrote-
quite understand. I
With
don't
your-
quite understand.
Okay, when you did your experience, as far as how did you feel when you was writing it with the less dominant hand?
Really uncertain.
Okay, uncertain.
Mhm.
I noticed you were happy the second time you wrote it, and guess what? You were quicker too.
Yeah, I was.
Would you say that those strokes were confident? With your right hand?
With the
was it
left hand, it wasn't at all. The right hand was a little bit more, but I still couldn't see it while I was writing.
I got
from
you.
my
So, okay. Little
From my
discomfort.
experience, when I can't see it, my writing doesn't usually turn out too good.
Miss Betty looked pretty good to me. So we're going to talk about that. Adversity is going to come either way. You might be blind in your situation, not knowing which way you're going to go. But did you notice, because you have a discipline of writing your name over and over again, even though you was blind when you went to your right hand, but it's because it's something that you do all the time, I saw confidence. You even had a joy in the midst of your adversity. Why? Because you had a discipline in place. I'm telling you now, and you can use this as a writer or a reader. That's why you take on these disciplines now. That's why I write at a certain time every day. Like right now with NaNoWriMo, guys, in the beginning I was really excited. I'm no longer excited about NaNoWriMo. It's the 4th day. I'm really realizing how busy I am. But do you know, it's not the first time I've had a deadline. If you go and you look on, and you, if you're not friends with me, guys, on Instagram, become friends with me, because I air every morning, sharing my experience about NaNoWriMo. Okay, and on there you will see that 3 o'clock in the morning I'm up. Do you know I do that with every book deadline? Every book. That's my schedule, 3 o'clock in the morning. Why? Because I value my family. Y'all see my value kicking in? I value my family. My husband goes to work at 3 o'clock in the morning. So he gets up at 3 to go to work, and he leaves by 3:30. So I know I write a lot. I'll get up to show him, babe, you are important to me. I'm going to sacrifice and go without some sleep just to spend quality time with you to show you how much, thank you for the follow, Heather, how much I love you, that you still are first in my life. When I have that balance, I even called a meeting with my kids. Hey guys, and my grandkids, I have 5 grandbabies. So I was like, let them know what I'm doing. Let them know what I'm doing so that they understand that I'm not neglecting them, because it's a value in my life. And I want to pass down a legacy for you to want to be a part of this later. You get what I'm saying? So my granddaughters may grow up to want to continue what I'm doing, because it was them that I was thinking about when I said, I want you to be able to walk in Barnes and Noble and see a reflection of someone that looks like you right there in the Christian book section, right there on the shelf, the very shelves I love to go to. And sometimes I just wanted to see more people that look like me. But I'm not going to wait on somebody else to write that book. I'm going to write it. And that came to pass, but that's a whole nother talk. I do that. I'll be doing that one tomorrow. But I'm just saying, guys, if you begin to start taking these things, and it's so important that we have these disciplines in place, our values, our beliefs. Because one thing that I know, if I don't have those 3 things in place, if I don't feed the baby, because remember what I told you, that you have to have evidence of these things in your life, if you truly believe them. Did y'all hear what the harlot said? She knew it wasn't her baby, because what, every morning when she got up, what was she already doing? She was feeding that baby. She knew her baby, she had connected with her baby. Do you believe in what you're doing? Do you believe in what you're reading? I always say, if you believe in what you're reading, then you're going to support the authors so they can continue to produce. So you're going to get the books, you'll be in fan clubs, you're going to keep coming to meetings like this, because there's proof in what you believe. Okay. So anyway, there's another thing I wanted to share with y'all, just in case you might be. I already got, hold on, let me find the name. I was just talking to her. Hold on, earlier. Remind me, y'all know my memory will go there. I was just talking to you earlier about you talking about you might be dabbling in books, but I called out Carol's name, but it was not Carol. Wasn't Beth. It was Robin.
Robin.
Yes, Robin. That's right. So Robin says she might be tickling over in books. Another thing that I do that Rachel Houck taught me, and I share anything I learn, I love to share with the world. Okay, so SHARP. And I've been using this, guys, in the curriculum and the things that I'm preparing for my community. And when I say my community, I got a community called Going Beyond the Manuscript, guys. In that community, they get access to videos that I make. But one of them is where we measure, we assess, we review, and adjust. That is the formula that I've used in my NaNoWriMo, because even though I'm busy all day, I was in certification the first 2 days, I'm speaking the rest of this week. We set up a plan for me to finish NaNoWriMo successfully, putting my beliefs, values, and disciplines in place. Okay. But one of the things that I do every day, even when we set up my plan to finish strong, was that we went in and SHARP. I set up for every day that I have to write, because we check my calendars, days I don't, because remember my mother had a stroke a couple months back, and now that I help take care of her on Saturdays and Sundays, those are not NaNoWriMo days, because I have to take care of my mother. So I don't get those days, but we constructed that which days I have to write a little extra. And I do SHARP for everything I'm going to write about. All right. S is for stakes. What's, our POV characters, what's at risk, or what do they have to lose? What's the main conflict that I'm going to be writing about? Then is it going to be in the heroines or the hero's POV? And I'm just making bullet points of these things, okay? Then anchoring just means setting. Where is it taking place? Is it on the job? Is it in Texas? Is it winter? Whatever basics I need to know about the setting. On the run, where can I start in the story that is the most action? They don't want all that big file. Oh, she got up after bed, she washed her face, and she then brushed her teeth, and then she walked into the kitchen. Not that. They want the on the run, where I'm going to start that scene, writing it, okay? And then the problem, hook, or question. So however I'm going to end it, I'm going to end it with a problem, a hook, or a question. I bullet point those things, and that's sharp. I bullet point those things for my day, whatever I'm gonna write about. Whatever I'm gonna write about. So yes, that's a Rachel Howe thing. By doing that, I'm not sitting up there wasting a lot of time trying to figure out what I'm writing. It's a discipline. She started that, Rachel started working with me over a year ago, almost 2 years now. Instituting that into my life. Recap her acronym, SHARP. It is S for stakes, hero or the heroine, who's POV. Anchoring, basic setting. Where is this story? Whenever you sit down and write, where is it going to take place? On the run, where you want to start in the story. Like I have a church scene, but I didn't want it to start when he first started preaching. I made it start right before he got ready to do the altar call, because that's where I needed, because I knew where the action was going to happen. Okay. And then I ended how it's going to end with a problem, a hook, or a question. Okay. If I miss anything big, Yolanda, in the chat, let me know. So then we have, so anyway, so that's one of the disciplines that I do. So I know what I'm going to write, and I'm not sitting. I used to only could write 700 words. I'm a slow writer in a 4-hour sit. If I could sit down for my 4 hours, do my little break, write my break, I could write 700 words. That's where I started. But we did our measurements, and that's where I was. But guess what? Since then, I've grown a lot. I've noticed that I can do anywhere from 400 to 700 words in an hour now. I didn't know. If you never measure, you'll never know where you'll get. So this NaNoWriMo was the first time I've ever tried to approach it, because I don't stress I was just like, I don't need that added stress in my life. I have too many things that I do. I'm a pastor's wife. We own a trucking company. I'm a writer. I work outside the home with an accountant. I just have all these things. Now I'm helping take care of my mom. I'm doing her books. I do the church books. I have a lot to do. But if you believe in what you've been called to do, you'll do it even when it's hard. Are y'all getting what I'm saying? When you believe, then you'll get it done. I fuel off of those three entities in my life. I measure, I assess. There's an assessment tool right there that I've gone in, that I invested in to know what my strengths and my weaknesses are. I do well in communities like this. That's why I make sure I'm at my local groups. That's why I connect with other writers. I connect with readers. I go to story fests. Why? Because they fuel me. And when I hear somebody say, you know what, I was hurting in that area because Sharonda has a self-image problem, and it helped me. It helped me deal with an issue and understand that I should be okay with the package God gave me. When the readers begin to tell me that, guys, let me tell you something. I get in there and say, oh, let me write some more. God, speak to your children. Use me. And I'm here to encourage you. There's something that he's called you to do, whether it's to be a writer, reader, I don't know, to be the best mom, the best grandmother. I told you I'm a GG5. That's important to me. Whether it's to whatever God has called you to do, I need you to believe it. I need you to understand what your values are. I need you to develop some discipline to do some of those things that's hard until you can do it with your eyes closed. Not that it's comfortable, but because you believe. And because he called you. And our gifts are not just for ourselves. They're for someone else. The next generation is waiting on you. Your children, they're watching you. And let me tell you something, no matter how old they get. No matter how old they get. And I'm gonna end with this because I know I want y'all to be able to talk to me. Here I am, 47 years old. And right before my mom got sick a couple months ago, has it been even 2 months? It's not quite 2 months yet. It's almost 2 months. My mother's brother had a stroke. And my mother has gotten to a point she really can't just drive, right? She was driving around or whatever, but driving into the city, into Dallas, and we from the country, that was a lot, right? So she said, I need to see my brother. My brother needs to see me. And so he was in the hospital, and then he had gotten out. And they began to tell her that, hey, everybody was asking her. My mom had some health things, and so she was like, COVID shots are still too new for me right now, and I don't want to take something on, and I got some things going on in my body. And my mama's words was, I'm just going to take the blood over the doorpost. I'm believing that the same God that put the blood over the doorpost can cover me. That was her words. That, like I said, that's mama, we stood behind her. Yes, ma'am. She said, give me to my brother, but they wouldn't let her see it because she didn't have her COVID shot. His children wouldn't, because they wanted to protect their father. We totally understand that. But my mother remembered something. My mother remembered the vow that my uncle, he's the oldest, had always said. My mother is his last living sister. He always said that his mother had told him to take care of his sisters. She said, my brother needs to see me. My brother needs to see me. And they were like, they kept going back and forth. My mom had my brother to drive her to his house, and she stood outside in the car, and she was like, and she called him. She said, I will stand outside the window. Just bring my brother and let him see me. My cousin got so convicted that she not only got her daddy up, but she let my mother in. And when he saw his sister, my uncle got up and walked. They talked and had a whole conversation. And in that day, not only did I learn something, but my cousin learned something. See, they had a belief system and some things that they believed in, and they're willing to die for it. He said, when he saw his sister, he ain't gone yet. His whole words was, I got to take care of my sister. He couldn't stay in the bed, guys. Let me tell you something, we were all affected because all of us wanted to protect our parents. And I learned that day, guys, they are still teaching us some things. What are we living for if we're not living for the very things we say we believe in? Wow. And I said, wow, I want to believe like that. I want to answer the call that's on my life and the things he's given me to do. I want God to be able to entrust it with me, that I laid in my life for it. So with that, guys, I thank you for sitting through all of this talk. If you just take those 3 things away today: belief, values, discipline. If you need help with that, then just meet me. JKM and Associates. We are at www.joykmassenburge.com. I'd love to chat with you. We have talks that we set up. You can get on Calendly. They'll set you up a date. We'll sit and we'll talk. We'll have a mindset talk. But I want you to establish those things in your life so that you can be productive and a joy to someone else. Now you can open it up. Y'all can ask me any questions that you have about the books or anything else that you want to talk about.
I just want to say thank you, Joy, so much, everyone. Remember, we have deviated from our normal mute everybody policy, so you have the power to unmute yourself. So please feel free to do that and interact with Joy.
You are so welcome, Joy Melville. I see you now. Let me make my chat bigger.
Hey, you. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
This took me back to the conference where you and I prayed together.
Come on. Yeah.
And I still have a portion of that prayer in my office. I really, really appreciate you. And it has been such a blessing to see where God has led you. And I don't get a chance to watch all your videos, but when I do, that enthusiasm just gives me a boost for the entire day. So I just want you to know how much I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Paige. And Sandra. Thank you, guys. I can't appreciate, y'all have been a wonderful, wonderful audience. Is there anything, tell me this, reader, since I have you with me. What are you looking for in the future? What is something we could write about that could be a blessing to you? Now, I'm a relationship girl. Now, if you want the other stuff, you want suspense, I'm loyal to just romance. But I'll chat with you on that other stuff. I really will. But if there's anything in the book that you'd like to see, what would you like to see? And y'all can come off mute and tell me. Older characters. And when you say older, Cindy, how old?
I middle age and up.
Okay. I love that idea. I have a 35-year-old character that I'm writing during NaNoWriMo, so I'm excited about that. But even when you say that, I've been thinking about the daddy, which is older, which is in his 60. I've been thinking about that one. So just the fact that you said that, that might be a little tickle. That girl, go get that out there. Because I know I like that in the Baxter series when Mr. Baxter finally had his little, y'all know about that? Yeah, I'm a Karen Kingsbury fan too.
Hey, Joy,
Yes.
have you ever had a character that you had determined would not be a POV character and has taken over as a POV character?
Look, come on. Yes. Yes. Hadn't had the privilege of writing it all the way out, but yes, I got it started. It's just not finished. I think those are the best kind of stories. Just let it happen. Because they know if they want to be on the page or not. They know if they're supposed to be. And then some of the ones you tried to force to be ain't even it.
Right.
Yeah. And then they start telling, you should know that you're the writer. I really don't know. I'm one of those writers. I don't know. I don't even get to plot it all the way out. My characters start talking. I hear dialogue first, just dialogue. And maybe that's from my acting days.
My stories are character-driven stories.
Got you. Paul, I've never seen your dog. I see your dog. What's the dog's name? I can't hear you.
His name is Buddy, and he climbs in the lap sometimes.
Hi, Buddy. I'm working with a dog character this time, so I'm writing about Samson, and so I think it's awesome. I see the dog. I was like, hey, we got a dog with us. Love the dogs. Janice Sanders, I came in late, but I appreciate the information and ideas you provided. Awesome. I'm so happy you were able to get a piece. That's all that matters. Then you got the segment that was for you, Janice. Did I miss anybody?
Just to let everyone know, this is being recorded. And so, you know, if you missed anything or you need a refresher, you'll be able to catch Joy in action again. So.
Well, I thank y'all. Are there any questions, writers? I do serve on a national board of ACFW. I wear a lot of hats, so if you just have some questions, I just want to make sure you guys are walking in your dreams. If there's any fears out there, if you say, hey, is there something that you use to get that motor running? Let me know.
Well, I have a question on that vein.
Okay.
What I've been wondering about writers, and I was going to ask the panel later, when you start a new book, do you have a certain outline that you follow? Like I've been fixing to read The Save the Cat, and there's Romancing the Beat, and several ACFW people recommended those books. So do you have a outline that you start with, and then of course you can deviate from there?
I generally don't start with an outline. So I'll tell everybody I'm a pantser for the first 7 chapters. Then I become a plotter. My books generally have started with me hearing the characters talk. Just conversation, I just write so I'm a believer in sprints, 30-minute sprints. That's how A Heart Surrendered started. I heard a girl in the bathroom, and she was in the stall, and she could hear people talking, and they was talking about her. And she was in, there's this little practice that my mom used to always make us do with public toilets. You never sit on them. So in there, I described it like she wrapped it like with Christmas, like it was a Christmas wrapping, but mom would always make us do all these layers layers and layers and layers of paper, you never sit on a public toilet. And so I just made my character start doing it. It's just a sprint, but that's how that story started. But now as I've progressed, just so that I don't have to do as much rewriting, I like my preference, and this is just my personal preference, is the story Equation by Susan May Warren. I like the fact that you just ask me questions, just start with some questions for me. I really don't want to outline. I want to know what's the wound. Yes, 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 yes. And she has that book, Story Equation. It asks these questions just about the character. And by asking those questions, what's the greatest fear? What was the lie that they believed? Those things drive me better than trying to box me into an outline. So that's a joy thing, but I think that that particular route plays to the pantster in me. But I do have the cat one though. I do. I just got that book not too long ago, actually. Okay. Was there another question that I might have missed?
Oh, you didn't miss it. He just asked it. Edmund asked, he says, you're on ACFW. Can you tell us the insider secret on how to win the award?
Keep on writing well. Just stay in there. You're talking about the Genesis, first impressions, which I would tell you, just continue to follow the craft. Submit, take their advice and learn. That's where the learning started for me. I still remember, I want to say it was Lisa Jordan that pulled me to the side because she had critiqued one of mine and was just like, that's how I got a hold of that book that Natalie was showing a few minutes ago. She's like, let me take you to this table and show you this. These are some little areas that you need to work on, and hang around writers. Find your local group, get your good critique group. And that can be one of the hardest things as far as opening up yourself to your book baby and sharing your book baby with someone, but and receiving criticism. But that was the best thing for me. And I challenge myself. I don't just stay with the same group. I'll level up. I'll find somebody who's produced a book at the next level. Not only that, I will invest and I will find people to help me get better. If I want to be where they are, then I have to get around those people. And their time is so busy. So then I just go in on their business side, or I volunteer. Volunteer will open up many, many, many doors for you. I don't care. I found out Lena was having some, this is why I ever got published. She was having some, what do you call it? Her book launch, and was having it at some little shop out there. I found her. I said, I'll work your table. The one thing I'm good at sales. I mean, I've always had jobs in sales. So I'll sell your book at this table. And I did. And what do? They take you under their wings and they start teaching you things. I love that woman. So I find people that are where I want to be and I serve them. So that's the only insider I have for you. Work hard. The judges are random, so they volunteer and you get different ones every year. So, but good writing is good writing. It's universal.
Yes, that is absolutely great advice. So we're winding down to the last 5 minutes, and Joy, if you could just repeat your website and social media handles. We want to make sure that people can find you after this. And you have, you said something about author chat. So can you tell people how they can set that up with you as well?
Go to the website, guys, right there at www.joykmassenburge.com. Right there, you can even see where you can do a free mindset chat with me. What does that mean? Many of us already have critique groups. Many of us are already connected to people that help us write our manuscript, but we go beyond the manuscript. I'm going to help you. We're going to get in there and work with you all. We're certified coaches where we come in and we help you with your mindset challenges, procrastination, setting goals, anything that would prohibit you or bring those blocks that keep you from finishing strong. And we come in and we work with you. And we have several different programs there that's available to you. We have assessments there that will go in and measure. They use them. It's the same assessments that they use actually in the hiring process is where they can come in and see what your behavioral tendencies are, what motivates you. We've taken those same things and we use them. I use them as a writer now. It helps me reach my goals. Where I lack strength, one of my areas, I will tell you what my strengths and what my weaknesses are. My strength is interacting with people. So doing this is a strength for me. I don't need anybody to help me meet and interact and open doors, not that way. So I really use that. And guess what I do? I teach that to others. I just give them little tips about, you want a conference, this is what you need to do, because that's what I do and it works, right? Another thing that is a strength for me, I'm a decision maker. I will take a risk. I will make that decision. I'm not gonna lay out there all day. I'm gonna get something. It's the goal. We're gonna do what it takes to get to the goal. But guess where I need a little help? I need a little help in the area of doing research. That's why I don't even write historical, guys. I will write romance, but not historical. It's not a strength for me. I don't thrive by researching and grabbing hold of a lot of information. But, you know, I've been a business owner for 20 plus years. And I always have somebody that works with me that helps take care of the little details, because I miss little details. So I partner up. I've also used that in my writing experience. In my crit groups, I partner up. I make sure that when I'm looking and doing things, there's certain indicators that tell me, yep, that one's going to be detailed over there. They're going to dot the I, the T. They're very, 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 very particular. I need them in my life. I need them to catch those details, because I just want to write the story and fly by. You get what I'm saying? So I use those things. So we do have an assessment tool there available as well that can help in your personal life, and it also helps in your character building and all that, and communication. But all that's on my website. But I did tell you I do have a Psalms 119 platform, Instagram or Facebook. I tell everybody I go right now for NaNoWriMo, I'm doing Instagram. That's my main one. And I want to say that's just Joy Massenburge. At Joy Massenburge is my Instagram. Y'all see me looking it up. I got other people that take care of my details, so I don't always know. I didn't even set that up. Hold on. And what is my thing? Yep, it's just at Joy Massenburge. You get me on Instagram, Facebook. I know. Technical stuff, it's not my biggest strong suit. I partnered up with people to do that, right? So, and I'm great at building teams. So if you get me with me there, I want to inspire you. Every day I'm on there posting something to give inspiration to my writers. But that's what we do. Is there anything? Oh, y'all got 1 minute. Is there anything else? Going. I bet it's about gone. Guys, have fun. Enjoy the rest of your festivities on today.
Thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure having you. So we thank you. Yes,
Thank you.
definitely. Round of applause.
Thank you so much. It was an honor.
Thank you. So I'm going to stop the recording now and just give some housekeeping details about what's next.